Chapter 2. The itch wasn't the kind you could soothe with calamine lotion or a stiff drink, or run off with a cocktail waitress from the Vegas Strip. No, this itch was a splinter, buried deep in the meat of his brain, throbbing with a low-frequency hum that he felt in his teeth. It had started 3 months ago during the graveyard shift, when a data packet leaked onto a secured intranet hub from a source masking itself as an obsolete military satellite. Most of the techs had dismissed it as a sophisticated hoax, a piece of deepfake garbage meant to rile up the tinfoil hat crowd. But Arthur knew the digital watermarks of the clandestine compartmentalized programs. He recognized the specific encryption degradation of the old Shadow Apollo 20 missions, specifically the whispered Phantom mission they had called Apollo 20. Arthur had stared at the grainy, high-resolution, monochrome image until his eyes watered and the capillaries in his sclera burst. There it was, sitting in the cold, dead dust of the Delport crater on the far side of the moon. It was an impossibly long, cigar-shaped object, dark as pitch and pitted with micrometeorite scars of 1 billion years. It wasn't a trick of the light, it wasn't a geological anomaly or a collapsed lava tube. It was a machine, a piece of speculative engineering on a scale that made the Great Pyramids look like a toddler's sandbox project. Looking at it, Arthur felt a cold draft blow through the hollow places in his soul. He had been raised in a house where the King James Bible was treated like a loaded weapon. His mother, a woman with a spine of iron and a terrifying devotion to the Almighty, had drilled the book of Genesis into his head until he could recite it backwards. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. But as Arthur stared at that 2-mile-long obsidian leviathan resting in the lunar dirt, the old Sunday school lessons warped and fractured. This wasn't a chariot of the gods. It was the seed pod. It was massive enough, complex enough, to contain the entire biological payload of a planetary genesis. It was the ultimate ark, the source of humanity itself, carrying seed-bearing essence of life across the freezing gulfs of space before crashing or landing on our pale, dead satellite 1 billion years before the first amoeba twitched in Earth's primordial soup. It held the inner secrets of mankind's technological past and the terrifying blueprints of its future. And then, the image had done something. It hadn't moved. Not physically, but Arthur's mind had suddenly been flooded with a sensation so sharp and metallic it tasted like sucking on a penny. It was a vision, a sudden terrifyingly clear projection of the ship's interior, vast, vaulted corridors made of material that looked like petrified bone, thrumming with a dormant, waiting energy. It wasn't a transmission, it was a summons, an invitation aboard, hand-delivered directly to his prefrontal cortex. "Come home," it seemed to whisper in a voice that was less a sound and more the feeling of falling backwards into dark water. Now, standing in the cramped stainless steel elevator car as it plummeted toward level 7, Arthur squeezed his eyes shut. The invitation was still there, pulling at him like the gravity of a black hole. The elevator chimed. A cheerful, mundane ding that mocked the sheer insanity of what he was about to do. The heavy steel door slid open with a pneumatic hiss. Arthur stepped out into the refrigerated air of level 7. The fluorescent lights down here were dimmer, buzzing like angry hornets. He adjusted his grip on the stolen level 9 access card, sweating in his palm. The lunar surface was calling, but to answer, he had to get past the Reptilian hall, and the Overlord was expecting company.